Yo, what's going on, you guys? You're listening to Occupy the Media, and this is the first episode of hopefully many more to come. If you're following the page Occupy the Media, I appreciate all the likes, the shares, all the hate, and the love. But we got to get the message out there. We got to occupy the media, basically become the media, expose the mainstream media, and wake up the masses. That's really what Occupy the Media is about. And so if you haven't liked the page yet, go over to Occupy the Media on Facebook, like the page, share the memes, steal the memes, just get the message out there. I personally think it's the best page on Facebook because not too many pages out there are calling out the left and the right and defending liberty. Now, I want to get into the big news story for the day or for the week in regards to Trump and Iran. But here on the first episode, I want to break down a little bit of what about Occupy the Media is about and the role that I see government having in our lives. So basically, Occupy the Media, if you've been following me for a while, it stems back from 2012. I was helping out with Ron Paul back in 2008 and in 2012. And something just really opened my eyes in 2012 when I saw the treatment that Ron Paul was getting. Now, he had a media blackout in 2008, but it was even worse in 2012. And to see all the passion and enthusiasm that Ron Paul was bringing out of people, and then to see the media ignore him, it was really an eye-opener for me. I mean, when you got thousands and thousands of people showing up with maybe a week or two notice, everywhere you go is just jam-packed, and the media is giving you no attention. I mean, for someone who is young, someone who didn't know a lot of how the government worked or how the deep state run things. I mean, it was really a big eye-opener for me, and it made me realize that the media is public enemy number one, because we could have had President Ron Paul. He definitely deserved it. He had the most support out of all the Republicans, and instead we end up with a Romney that couldn't even, back in my hometown of Virginia, he couldn't, I think, fill up 12 seats. I mean, he couldn't get a dozen people to show up. He couldn't get anybody to show up anywhere, and yet this guy won the nomination. So for me to see that and to see all the cheating going on and see the media ignore all of that, oh man, it was just such an eye-opener for me. It made me realize that the media is in bed with the government to make sure that anybody who's a threat does not get into the White House. And so, fast forward a few years now, and everybody hates the media now. Everybody has gotten caught on to the fact that the media is full of lies, and they're always backing up what the government says, and they're always ignoring those of us that are telling the truth, like Ron Paul. So that's why I came up with Occupy the Media. It's been a while since I've been doing my show, but hopefully now we can keep this thing going, and we could spread some real news, and we can expose a lot of the BS narratives that is going on out there. Now, as far as government and the role of government, I get accused on my page a lot, especially from a lot of you Trumpers, a lot of you haters, that I'm a leftist page. Some people really think that, and these are people that haven't been following me for a while, because if you know me during the Obama years, you would know that I was one of the most vocal and loudest opponents of Barack Obama. I couldn't stand Barack Obama. I hated Obama, and I'm talking about back in 2007 when he was like Jesus. Basically, everybody loved him. But I am a libertarian. This page is libertarian. We don't lean left. We don't lean right. I lean libertarian, and I'm a strict purist libertarian. That means I don't believe in any government force except to respond to violence and the destruction of private property. So, I get accused of being an anarchist from other people if they're not calling me a leftist, and that's probably because my idea of government is so small that it's damn near anarchy, damn near being an anarchist, and that is that government has no role in really anything except the violation of liberty. That's really it. So should we have a military? Yes. That doesn't mean that we should have an empire, but we should have a military that protects the homeland. So if our country wants to bomb us, attack us, send troops across the border, then we should be ready to respond right away. And we should have, all the tools and the troops that we need. to protect the homeland. But that's if we're attacked. That's not us being on the offense, us going around the globe attacking countries, claiming that there's an imminent threat. No, we stay home, we stay put, we take care of the troops, we leave them home with their families, and if they need to be called to service, then they can serve. And then more than likely it'll be serving on our homeland, because that would be the only time we really need to fight. We don't really need to be going around the world causing problems and bombing people. And then we wonder why people want to attack us. Okay, so yes, we should have a military. My idea, government is not funded by taxation. It's funded by donation. So that means if you don't want to spend your money on government at all or on the military, then you don't have to. And guess what? The government don't need everybody's money to run a military, to run a government. They don't need to get a cut of everything. So government really should be run through donation and not taxation. So again, we have a government, right? We have a military, and it's funded through donations. And the government really does nothing else except the response to the violation of liberty. So yes, we should enforce justice. So if someone, breaks into your home, or someone harms you, or kills someone, or damages someone's property, okay, fine. Then go ahead and call government. But we don't need no patrols patrolling us. We're not supposed to be living in an open prison like we are right now, where the cops are the jail guards, the prison guards. We don't need that, okay? They could be on call, but we don't need to be patrolled. We're supposed to be free men, okay? No CIA, no FBI, no DEA, no drug laws, no gun laws, no immigration laws. Just leave everybody the hell alone. And if somebody violates your property or violates your liberty, okay, then fine. Call on government. That's it. So I shouldn't have to spend too much time on explaining my position here. And this is why so many people think that I really don't support any government at all, and that I'm for anarchy. Now, I don't have a problem with anarchy or anarchists, and I'm perfectly fine if we just totally get rid of the government and we all just, take care of ourselves and we all just leave each other alone. I'm perfectly fine with that. But at the same time, I do see that a government that governs the violation of liberty, I think is okay. But we're far from that. We're not anywhere near a government like that. We don't even have a government anywhere near what the Constitution lays out. So we are light years away from that. But it is important that we remind the people what government really should be. It should be very limited, very, very, very small, and really just there to protect our liberties and protect the homeland. And that's it. That should be it. Okay. Now, again, if you haven't already, go to the page, like the page, follow me. We should be uploading these episodes onto YouTube, so definitely subscribe to Occupy the Media on YouTube. I hope I can get your help. If you write or you make memes, then send me a message. Get at me. If you support Trump, Bernie, any of the Democrats, I'm good. I don't want to hear from you. You don't need to reach out to me. I'm really talking to those who are awake, those who want to help me get the message. For everybody else, we got to work on waking you up, because there's a lot of people out there that are sound asleep. There's a lot of people out there that were supporting Ron Paul, and now they're supporting Trump. I mean, it seems like most of the liberty movement has been hoodwinked, has been tricked and played, manipulated, and fallen really for the trick. It's very, very sad to see all these people claim to be for liberty, and yet they're out here supporting Bernie Sanders, or they're out here supporting Trump. And I mean, really, what is the difference? They both want big government. They both want more spending. They just want government to control everything, and they haven't advised their people or informed the public that the government is the problem. It ain't the solution, so it ain't going to fix anything. Okay, if government don't work in education and in healthcare, guess what? It don't work in immigration either. Okay, we need to get government out of all of these sectors, get government out of everything, and let the people run it. Okay, let the people decide, let the property owners decide, not the government. Okay, so if we're going to complain about government getting involved with healthcare, then we got to complain about government getting involved with immigration. We got to complain about it all. Okay, so that's what we do here at Occupy the Media. We attack the right, we attack the left. Now, let me put this out there too, is that I don't necessarily hate the left or hate the right. I love everybody because everybody is my brother and sister from another mother. Basically, we are all on the same team. We just don't agree with each other, right? We have very different positions and principles. But at the end of the day, we're all on the same team. So I don't hate anybody, even when I talk harsh, talk shit. I love everybody, but I hate what you stand for. I hate your beliefs. I hate your principles, or the fact you don't have any principles. That's what I hate. That's what I can't stand. And so that's what we're doing here, and that's what I've been doing on my page, is that I see social media as a stage or a medium where we can battle out ideas, fight out ideas. You know, we should all be respectful of one another. We should all hear each other out, right? But at the same time, we do got to talk a little shit. We do got to, call out a few people and expose a few people, because some of these things that you guys are going out saying day in and day out, like Iran is destabilizing the Middle East, some of this shit needs to be stomped out right away, okay? Because it's BS, it's lies. Okay, so when we call out people, we call out, because I'm going to be calling out people in the comments on this show. I'm going to be taking some of your questions and responding. And so sometimes I'm not going to be so polite or nice. I'm going to be blunt because we need to. Okay, so let's make sure that we put that out there, that we all need to love and care for one another and for each other, because we need to understand that we are not the enemy and we need to stop letting them divide us. But at the same time, we need to stop holding back. And we need to be honest as liberty lovers and libertarians and call people out when they need to be called out and call things wrong when it's wrong. We're not going to sit here and spend every day, all day, calling out Obama and Hillary still, when the Republicans are in power, when Trump is in power. We're not going to do all these punches on Obama when he was in office and then do these light punches, light attacks on Trump and have all this hope for Trump and, he's trying and, they just got him surrounded and they're just tricking him and lying to him. No, Trump knows exactly what's going on. Stop acting retarded. Stop acting like he don't know what he's doing. That's why it amazes me about these Trump supporters. They want to make so many excuses for him, but then you act like he's a genius. Well, this genius should know that the people around him are lying to him. And he does know. He knows why he's there. It's you guys that don't know. It's you that's being played and manipulated and being suckered in. I mean, I don't know how many times Donald Trump got to violate the Constitution for you to realize that he ain't there to drain the swamp. He ain't there to limit government. He's there to expand government. And he's there to make the Republicans look like a joke. And he's there to keep the distraction, keep the division, and keep us bumping heads. Okay? I've lost a lot of friends on Facebook. I mean, probably hundreds on Facebook since Trump has taken office, because so many liberty lovers have decided to drink the Kool-Aid, to go join the swamp with Trump. And it's pitiful. It's sad. Okay, that's what here at Occupy the Media, we're going to expose all of that. All this talk about Trump being an outsider and Trump fighting the deep state and draining the swamp. That's BS. Donald Trump got 24/7 news coverage when he was running for office, running for presidency. You think that's by accident? Before he became nominated, before he got the nomination, he was being protected by Secret Service. Somebody who had no position in government was being protected by Secret Service. That means he was being protected by the deep state before he was even nominated. And you telling me that he's against the deep state? You see, you don't put things together. You don't see things for the way they are. You just believe the BS lies. And who told you Trump was an outsider? The fake news media. That's who told you that. That's what made you believe that. Because back in the beginning, back when he was running for president, when he first came down the escalator, to so many people, he was a joke. It was a joke. Everybody was laughing. People couldn't believe it. No one was taking him serious. But then the media just kept talking about Trump 24/7, attacking Trump 24/7. What did they eventually do? And it was by design. They triggered conservatives, right-wing conservatives, into supporting a New York liberal. That's what they did. People think Trump is just some great genius that galvanized all this support and beat 19 other Republicans. No, Trump didn't have almost anything to do with that. It was the media. Let it be known, the reason why you support Trump so much is because of the mainstream media. If they didn't attack him the way that they did, you wouldn't have been triggered to support him. Okay? If the Democrats didn't attack Trump the way they do, you wouldn't be triggered to support him. You need to understand, you were triggered. You were played. You were manipulated into supporting someone that was their own. Okay, that's why everything is still continuing. The government's still growing. The war still continues. Spying still continues because Trump was meant to be there. They tricked you into supporting their guy and you still ain't realized that. So many people still ain't picked up on this. Okay, they attack him with these little minor attacks, these small attacks all day, every day, 24/7. And eventually they say something that rubs you the wrong way. And then you start supporting Trump because you see him as a victim. And that's what happened. All these Republicans, all these conservatives, they said, oh, I know he's not perfect. I know he's not the greatest. I know he doesn't have a great past. But look at him. He must be doing something right. They keep attacking him. All the Democrats hate him. Schumer, all the people that you can't stand on the left side of the aisle are attacking this guy. So all of a sudden, he looks attractive. All of a sudden, he's resonating with you. You think that he cares now. You got tricked. And I'm telling about a lot of you because I've seen so many of my friends on Facebook that were diehard Ron Paul supporters, diehard libertarians, and they themselves were attacking Trump for the first 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, however long, and then eventually they got on the bandwagon, and now so many of you guys are on the Trump bandwagon, and it's sad, it's pathetic, it's disgusting, it's disappointing, it's really sad, with an explanation point. It really is, and you guys need to get off of it, okay? If you think the Democrats and Trump hate each other, you're being played. You think the liberal media and Trump really hate each other, you're being played. You're watching a soap opera, okay? When you watch a soap opera, you can see two characters get mad at each other, get outraged, scream, yell, and they're acting it out. You can see that they're mad. You can see that it's happening, right? But does that mean it's real? Just because you see them acting out something doesn't mean it's actually happening, right? In that soap opera episode, did he really cheat on her and do this and that, and that's why she's really upset and mad? Did that really happen? No, that didn't really happen. They're just playing it out for you, right? Because it's a show. Well, that's what politics is. That's what Donald Trump and Pelosi are. They're characters. They're actors, okay? Schumer, all the Republicans, all the Democrats, just about all of them, they are not genuine. They are pretending to hate Trump. They are pretending to attack Trump. And the more and more that they pretend to do this, the more and more that his base continues to support him. You haven't figured out? It's so funny. His supporters will mention all the time, the media keeps attacking Trump and they're only making him better. They're only making his support better. They're only making him get more support. Well, haven't you realized that's by design? That's what they're trying to do. You think they're that stupid? You think the people running the media, the deep state controlling the media, who are supposedly scared of Trump, you think they haven't picked up on that? Of course they know that it's going to draw him more support. That's why they attack him on stuff that don't matter. That's why they always talk about shit that don't matter instead of talking about the things that do matter. Okay? They don't attack him on foreign policy. They don't attack him on the spending. Okay? They don't attack him on the foreign aid. You see, they don't attack him on the Patriot Act, renewing the Patriot Act, renewing NDAA. They don't attack him when he's trying to grow government and grow the empire. No, they attack him on his rhetoric. They attack him on irrelevant things that don't matter. But it causes his base and people that are sympathetic to Trump, it causes them to continue to support him, even though they know he's far from perfect, and they know he's violating the Constitution, and they know that he is no different than any other president. But the only difference is the fake news media pretends to hate him, and so that keeps his supporters by his side. Sooner or later, you're gonna realize what I'm talking about. It's gonna become clear to you, and all of this is gonna make sense. Because see, none of this makes sense unless you look at it the way that I'm looking at it. Okay? It makes sense on why they're attacking Trump with these weak attacks. Oh, they want to keep his support high. Now it makes sense. It didn't make sense when you thought that they were trying to really take down Trump because all they were doing was the opposite. But when you look at it from the point of view that I'm looking at it, now it can begin to make sense. Now things you can see the light now. You can understand what really is going on in the game that they're running on us. Okay, but if you're not looking at it like this, you're just going to be confused and distracted and not know what's going on, who to believe, who to listen to, who hates who's on the same team, who's defending the Constitution, who's not. You got Pelosi and Democrats bringing up the Constitution as if they actually ever gave a damn about the Constitution. But you just need to remember that they're actors. And when they go on TV everything that they're saying is usually for a reason, is to rile up a certain side, or to trigger a certain side. There is a purpose to it. And it's not to get the truth out. It's not to inform the public. It is just to confuse, distract, and cause division. The government loves divide and conquer, right? Who causes division better than Trump? This is probably why he got picked. I didn't think he was going to win. I thought he was just a short-term distraction. It turns out he's a long-term distraction. But that's really all it is. It's just a distraction. So that way, while you're focused on Trump and you're focused on everything that he's doing and the liberal media is talking about, the deep state who's in control, they're running the show. Everything's still moving on pace. The war is continuing, the spending continuing, the spying continues. More bills are passed, more executive orders. So everything is just really continuing on. And here at one thing I see in a lot of people is hope and optimism. And this to me is part of the problem. So on this show, don't come listen to Occupy the Media because you want to you want some hope or feel optimistic. Okay, go to everybody else for that shit, because that's what everybody else is doing. Everybody want to be hopeful, whether it's being hopeful in elections or being hopeful in Trump, being hopeful in the Democrats, being hopeful in Tulsi, whatever it is. I'm not selling any hope at all, okay? It's all false hope. That's the problem. You want to know why Americans are so complacent and why nothing is changing? It's because of hope. False hope. Because everybody walking around hopeful. Everybody walking around optimistic. And that's the problem. What the hell are you so hopeful for? I mean, how many more civilians we got to bomb? How many more wars we got to get into? How much more spending? How many more dollars we got to print up? How much more debt? How much more homelessness? How many more kids we got to cage at the border? I'm trying to figure out, okay, we've been spreading this libertarian message for, years and years. The liberty movement's been out there. People are finding out about the message. And so some people think there is reason to have hope and to be optimistic. But, while all of that has been happening, the government has also been growing. The government has been getting bigger. We have been getting more laws, not less. There's been more spending, not less. Ever since this growth in libertarianism and in the message, we are still losing. So I don't understand where anybody can come off saying that there's reason to be hopeful and reason to be optimistic and to look towards the future. No, there isn't. And I'm not fighting or speaking out because I think there's a lot of hope out there. I'm doing it because I feel like there's nothing else I can do. That's all we can do is speak out and at least try. So if we fight and we lose, well, at least we fought. At least we spoke out. At least we tried to get the message out there. But I'll be the first one to tell anybody that we need to lose all hope. Because as soon as all of us Americans and libertarians and people that are frustrated with government, as soon as we lose hope, we're going to finally do some shit about this. We're going to finally come together, organize, and figure out what the hell we need to do to rein in our government and stop our government. Okay? But until then, until we get frustrated and mad and we lose hope, we're just going to continue to go to the voting booth. We're going to continue to put our hope into these presidents, hope into these politicians, and continue to be disappointed, continue to be frustrated. Just like a lot of the people in the Libertarian Party, people that still want to get involved politically, still want to vote, still want to change government, still haven't figured out that you can't. Okay, and you're not going to beat the government at its own game. So if you're in the Libertarian Party, with all due respect, you're wasting your time. Okay, the party is a waste of time. Now there is a lot of good people in the Libertarian Party. There's probably a lot of sound, principled libertarians there as well, and I sympathize with them. I get it. I hate the two-party system too. I'm sick of the two parties. I'm fed up with their cheating and being unfair. I totally understand it. So I sympathize with you completely, but I think you're being duped. I think you're being played. You got the Libertarian Party also selling you what? Hope. Just like the Democrat Party and the Republican Party sell hope to their voters, that's what the Libertarian Party is doing for those that are disenfranchised with the two-party system. They're tricking you. They're selling you false hope, okay? And all of these people that were a threat to the system, all of these Ron Paul supporters and strict libertarians, strict constitutionalists, all of these people that were a threat have removed themselves from being from continuing to be a threat. right? So you were in the Republican Party, you were causing a problem, you were a thorn in their side, you were a virus to the system, you were messing up their agenda, messing up their meetings, and then they ran everybody off, and now you're out of the way. And that's exactly what they want. That's exactly what they love. That opened my eyes in 2012 with the campaign, not only with the media, how the media was treating Ron Paul, but how the Republicans were treating Ron Paul. And to see that cheating go on, to see how the delegates got treated, to see what they were doing at the meetings, blatant cheating. And you could go on YouTube and check out the videos from over the years and see for yourself. And so that made me realize we can't beat them at their own game. Okay, you're not going to beat them at their own game, especially if you're on the outside at the Libertarian Party. Now you're really just yelling on the outside, and they love the fact that you're in a third party. So you don't want to do what they want you to do. You want to be where they don't want you to be. So if the Republican Party don't want you to be part of their party because you're a sound, principled libertarian or conservative, well, that's the reason why you need to be there, because they don't want you there. Okay, you don't go look for a party that represents you. No, you go look for a party that is part of the establishment, part of the machine, and you go and you cause a problem. You be a disturbance. That's it. If you're going to go anywhere and you're going to get politically involved, then you need to go to the two-party system and become a problem. Now, if you're going to go there and you're going to compromise and you're going to become part of the system and you're going to play ball and you're going to compromise on votes here, votes there, well, then, you're just part of the problem. You're not going to be any better. You're not going to do anything. Okay, but if you're going to go there and be like Ron Paul and you're going to be a virus to the system, you're going to vote no on everything, you're going to not go along to get along, you're not going to regurgitate and repeat the same BS talking points that the Republicans are repeating, then yeah, go do that then. Okay, but that's really it. I mean, going libertarian is a waste of time. The Libertarian Party is not passing any laws. They're not passing any taxes. They are not the enemy. If you're going to go get involved politically, you got to confront the machine. You got to confront the enemy. And the enemy is in the two-party system. So that's where you got to go. But again, too many people go there thinking they're going to save everybody, thinking they're going to change hearts and minds in the party, as if these politicians have a heart or a mind. You ain't changing nothing. Okay, you need to change the people's hearts and minds. So that's what I've been focusing on since 2012, since I stopped helping out with the campaign. I basically realized or come to the conclusion that going to the Republican meetings, getting involved with the Republican Party, not only is it depressing and disappointing being there, the stuff that you hear, it really is a waste of time. We don't really have enough numbers, enough true constitutionalists there to do anything or to even cause a problem. So I don't knock anybody from going and trying to be a thorn in the Republican side or going to get politically involved so you can expose the government, shed light on government, be Ron Paul 2.0. Cool. I'm with you. That's cool. But for me, I just felt like I could use my time more wisely doing something else. Sitting at those Republican meetings, sitting in the Central Committee meetings, and just analyzing it and observing, I just realized there wasn't really much that I can do unless I really just wanted to throw tables and cause a big disturbance. And then what good is that going to do? So I got tired of just going there just to listen and just to observe and not really have too many allies that I can work with to really cause a problem. So I don't know. Maybe in the future I might go back. Maybe there might be some more people we could do something, could be a problem. But as of right now, I have concluded that the most important thing any of us can do, especially if your time is limited and your resources is limited, is to speak out. Okay. I used to think that online activism was the weakest form of activism. It was the least important part of activism. And I've now reversed my position on that. And I have concluded that online activism is the most important form of activism, at least now, at least at this point in time. And the reason why I say that is because we don't really have enough people that are awake to go be doing anything in the government. I mean, there's not enough of us. So many of us are sound asleep. There's a lot of people that think they're awake. They think they're woke, but they're just sound asleep and they're dreaming. that they're awake. We got a lot of sheep out there that still believe that government needs to be involved in all type of areas of our lives. You might not think government should be involved in guns, but you think government should be involved in immigration and vice versa. So we have a lot of sheep out there that still believe government should have control. And so we don't really have enough people awake to be doing anything, to be organizing like that, to be a force to reckon with. So therefore, our main goal right now needs to be waking up the masses. Okay, so there's two ways really I see in doing that. Spreading the message of liberty and shedding light on government. Okay, these are my two main things right here. If anybody asks me how we change the world, how we do anything, I'm telling you right now, you got to spread the message of liberty. You got to shed light on government. You got to grow your influence, right? And as your influence gets bigger, then your ideas get out there, they get spread more, and then that's how we can get more people to wake up. So if you got a Facebook page, you got a Twitter page, you're a strict constitutionalist, you're a strict libertarian, but you're not saying much, you're not doing much, you're not making memes, well, I encourage you to change up. I encourage you to stop being silent, stop being quiet. I know there's a lot of my libertarian and anarchist friends, the true ones, the true libertarians and anarchists, who have given up on politics completely. They've given up on speaking out. They've given up on protesting. They've given up on voting. They've given up on all of it. And I would encourage those people to come back and speak out. You can't give up on the sheep, okay? If we're going to have any hope at all, and most hope out there is false hope, but if we're going to have any hope at all, we have to wake up the sheep. We have to wake up the masses, because that is the only hope that we have, is that the masses can wake up and reverse this, because it's going to take millions of people in the streets to rein in our government and stop our government from what they're doing. So speak out, make memes, put up quotes. If you don't have any things to say, then quote Ron Paul every day, all day. We have to speak out more than we ever have before, and to me, that's the most important part of activism. I can go outside and I can wave a sign, and maybe a few 100 people might see it, right? I can go online though, and I can say something that makes people think, and thousands of people can see it, right? It could be 12 at night, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. People can see it all around the world. People that I may never meet, people I may never talk to, people who would never have seen what I have to say if it had to be in person. People that might be in bed, people that might be at work, people that might be on the toilet. People anywhere and everywhere can see what I got to say, and I can influence them, affect them. So that's what made me realize that online activism is the most important activism for our time right now. 10, 20, 30 years from now, excuse me, if we wake up a bunch of people, then that's different. Maybe we need to get out in the streets. Maybe we need to protest. Maybe that's going to be more important at that given time. But for right now, because we got so many sheep, so many people sound asleep, those of us who are awake, we need to put our efforts, our focus, our energy into waking up the masses, into speaking out, into making memes, into influencing people. Not so much with voting, and getting people elected and getting people registered and signing people up. All of that is just a waste of time. Okay, like I said, you're gonna go there to be a problem. Cool. But if you're gonna go there just to try to win and just try to take over leadership, and you're wasting my time, you're wasting everybody else's time as well. You're asking people for donations, ask people to vote, and you just want to go and compromise like a lot of these so-called liberty candidates. Okay, so hopefully now you see where I'm coming from and what Occupy the Media is about. I ran it a little bit longer than I wanted to on that. So let's go ahead and jump into the main story, the main news for the day or for the week. And going forward on the next episodes, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing, is jumping into the big news story. We'll touch on some headlines, really important news I think that should be out there, and hopefully you guys can spread. And then in the future, maybe we'll take some comments, respond to some questions, and do a little bit of exposing out there. But anyways, today I want to talk real briefly about Trump and Iran and the possible coming war, and then we'll probably go ahead and wrap it up today for the first episode. But this weekend, Trump did put out a couple of tweets in regards to Iran that I want to read here and respond to. And let's see here. So the first one says, National Security Advisor suggested today that sanctions and protests have Iran choked off, will force them to negotiate. Actually, I couldn't care less if they negotiate. Will be totally up to them, but no nuclear weapons and don't kill your protesters. And another quote, I think right after that, to the leaders of Iran, do not kill your protesters. Thousands have already been killed or imprisoned by you, and the world is watching. More importantly, the USA is watching. Turn your internet back on and let reporters roam free. Stop the killing of your great Iranian people. Okay, so a couple of things here. Thousands have already been killed or imprisoned by you, and the world is watching. That could easily be said about America. America has killed and imprisoned thousands, and the world is watching. What does Trump say about America and our mass incarceration rate? All of our people that are being put in jail are having their rights violated just because. All the police brutality out there, nothing. Trump don't say anything about it. He goes on and talk about stop killing your great Iranian people. It's ironic you would call Iranian people great and you're putting sanctions on them. If you care about these people, if these people are great to you, why would you put sanctions that affect them negatively? Why? That makes no sense. You're going to talk about how you sympathize with these people, how you stand with them, but then you're going to continue to put sanctions on them. You know, and this, Ron Paul always talks about this. He says sanctions are basically blockades, and they keep stuff from coming into the country. Supplies, medical supplies, food, clothing, you know, all types of stuff that needs to get to the middle class, to the poor. And instead, it's blocked. It's kept from coming in. And so it affects those that are the most sick, those that are most vulnerable. So how can you put that on these people and then say you care about them, that you stand with them? It makes no sense. It just blows my mind how this doesn't register to so many of his supporters. And, you know, his supporters are silent about sanctions. They don't care about sanctions on Venezuela, on Iran, on Russia, on anybody, even though they affect the population the most and the governments that we hate the least. Okay, it affects the population. And, you know, we know what the government's trying to do. We just want their situation, their living situation to become so bad that they overthrow their government. And that is cruel in itself. I mean, like I said, when you're willing to let people die and you're the cause of it just to implement regime change and then lie about standing with these people, you know, you're another kind of person. I don't even know what to call you. But I just find it ironic that Trump wants to pretend to stand with these protesters and at the same time harming them. And it's funny how he doesn't stand with any of the other protesters around the world. He doesn't speak out about the protesters in France. He doesn't speak out about the protesters I think we had about 6 months to a year ago in Honduras that were protesting, you know, the puppets that we installed over there. You know, there's protests all over the world against our puppets, against our intervention, our presence in the region. But Trump don't stand with none of those protesters. He don't speak out for any of them. The media don't put a spotlight on any of them. You see, that's how this is, again, how you know they're on the same page. Trump and the media will sympathize with some protesters and ignore all the others. Again, because they're on the same team. All right. Also, he mentions in this tweet that they're not going to have any nuclear weapons. No nuclear weapons. And I hate it when people bring this up and talk about it, because where do you get the right to tell another country what they can and can't have? Who gave us that authority? Who gave us that right? Where is it in the Constitution that says we can denuke countries or we can regulate the nuclear energy or nuclear weapons that other countries have? Where is that in the Constitution? How do we have that authority? And for all the people out there that claim to be against globalism and yet you support Trump putting sanctions on other countries, you don't even say anything about it. This is a form of globalism. We are going global with our authoritarianism. We are telling other people what to do. And yet we claim to be anti-globalist, anti-socialist, and claim to be capitalists. Well, I tell you what, capitalists don't support sanctions. Capitalists let markets go, let markets be. Okay, we don't negatively affect markets by blocking, you know, supplies and food and stuff from getting to other people. So there should be no attempt to keep anybody from having nukes? What about our nukes? When are we going to get rid of our nukes? When is Israel going to get rid of their nukes? And we got the nerve to talk about someone else that could be a danger to the world with nuclear power. What about us? We already dropped a nuclear bomb. And we got the nerve to tell other countries what they can and can't do. This is the hypocrisy with America, a hypocrisy with our government and with the people that support the Trump administration or the Obama administration, all the administrations. Just like with that Iran deal, everybody was. We got people on the left that support the Iran deal, so people on the right that are extreme and want to tear up the Iran deal. I say no deal. We don't need no deal. We don't even need to talk. What are we talking for? What are we in the region for? Why are we sending drones to Iran for? Why do we got bases around Iran? Why are we anywhere over there? For what? For regime change, to spread the empire, for oil, for power, for money. That's really what we're over there for, and we shouldn't be. So we need to scale it back, bring out all our troops back, shut down all the bases, and we don't have to worry about our troops being killed. We don't have to worry about Iran being a threat to us. And you know what? I think we just lost like 4 more troops the other day to a roadside bomb. And I put all of that on Trump. I put all of that on the administration, all of that on the deep state, even though the killing may have come from a foreign country or a terrorist group. We are the problem because we are putting them there. We are putting our troops there to be targets. Why? So when they get hit, we can have a reason to intervene even more. You think our government would say, hey, we just lost, more troops. Maybe we should think twice about it. Maybe we should go ahead and get out of the Middle East. No, they talk about going further, sending more troops there. So remember that. The government is willing to send you or your loved ones or your sons, daughters to die so they can promote a cause, so they can promote an agenda of New World Order, globalism, authoritarianism, all of that. So we just need to scale it back, bring the troops home, end it already, and stop supporting all of this intervention, okay? And be capitalists like we're supposed to be. Leave everybody alone. Let people trade and do what they want. Let people buy oil from where they want to buy oil from. Let people do business with countries that they want to do business with, and leave everyone alone. For us personally, we don't need an Iran deal. We should rip up the deal just like Trump did. I would agree with that, except get off of Iran's back. Shut down our bases. Stop telling them what they can and can't do. So that's what I was telling libertarians and people that supported Obama's Iran deal, is that I never supported it because I don't support any deal. The government's not supposed to be making deals with each other about anything. You see what I'm saying? You protect the homeland. You protect our liberties by enforcing justice, and that's it. Go get a job. Go do something. Get a hobby. Be a businessman. Go handle your businesses. And leave the government alone. Stop spending so much tax dollars making everything worse in the Middle East, worse in Latin America. Rip up all deals. No trade deals, no nuke deals, no deals with nobody, no flying to none of these meetings or none of these summits. I mean, Trump keeps telling all of his supporters he ain't a globalist, but I can't count on my hands how many globalist meetings he's been to. I don't understand. I mean, how many times do we got to see him meet with globalists before we call him one? I just don't get that. They think that he's there hurting the globalists, though. No, he's there participating. Okay? So we rip up all deals. We don't, governments do not need to, really, they don't even really need to talk with each other because there needs to be no problem. We're the aggressor. That's what I tell people about Iran and about the deal. We are the aggressor, so we do not need any deal because we are the ones causing the problems. We just need to get back, get away, bring our troops back, get away out of the Middle East, and let everything be. And then we won't have to worry about no deals. We won't have to worry about nuclear energy, nuclear weapons, none of that. We can just take care of our borders, take care of our homeland, and that's it. And when I say take care of our borders, I don't mean occupy the borders. I mean just be ready to defend the country if we are attacked, whether that's on the border or, from air or wherever. Just be on the defense, not on the offense. Okay? Same thing with trade deals. We don't need any of these trade deals because we don't need government involved in the marketplace telling us what to buy, how much to buy it for, where it's coming from. None of that. All trade deals should be from private parties. Okay, so if a private company wants to make a business deal with a private company in China or wherever, then they make out the deal. They work out the deal, but not the government, especially our government. Other governments are going to do what they do because they're communist in nature, they're socialist in nature, but we're supposed to be for freedom. So at least on the American side, we shouldn't have any, tariffs or taxes or deals or any of that. Okay? So not NAFTA, not USMC or whatever it is, none of these deals. Let people be. Okay? If you really care about the people of Iran, you really care about the protesters, then you would scale it back and leave that country alone and stop giving them a reason to stand with their government. Just back off and let's let them go ahead and have their revolution or overthrow their government or do whatever it is they're going to do. But they got to do it. And if you care about Iran or you care about Venezuela, you really care about these victims of socialism and communism, then go there yourself. Stop sending our tax dollars, our kids over there to fight or to support a cause that isn't benefiting us. It isn't benefiting anybody. You go over there and you do it yourself. You get your boots, you get your little flag, you get your Blue Lives Matter and all that stuff, and you get your guns, and you go over there and you fight for those people, and you help them, get their freedom, since you care about their freedom so much. But I, as an American, I want to stay out of it. It's not my business. As far as I'm concerned, we got our own problems here at home that we got to work out. And maybe when we could free this country up, maybe some of us can talk about how to help other countries become free. But until then, we don't need to be using tax dollars or troops or anybody to go and get rid of corrupt regimes. We got corrupt regimes all over the place. And as far as I'm concerned, if we want to get rid of some corrupt regimes, maybe we should stop supporting them in Latin America and in the Middle East and God knows wherever else, Africa, wherever. Just get the troops home. And until he brings all the troops home, every single day, there's an impeachable offense for the president. Every day, our military acts outside of the Constitution. That means every single day there is a new offense or a new reason to impeach the president. Okay, so hopefully we're not going to war. Hopefully things are going to scale back. Mark Esper, the defense secretary, came out this weekend or last few days and said that there was no hard evidence that 4 American embassies had been under possible threat, just like President Trump had said so. So apparently Trump was lying about that, which should be of no surprise. They have no evidence. They have no specifics, but yet they go talk about how Trump did the right thing in taking out Soleimani, a person apparently who was helping to fight and get rid of ISIS. And that's a lot of people don't understand, is that maybe that's the reason we took him out, is maybe because we don't like anybody killing and destroying ISIS. Why? Because ISIS is our ally, regardless what the media says. They are our ally to overthrow Assad. We are supporting them. That's why they ended up with so many weapons. They ended up with 4 trucks. They end up with US dollars. It's not by accident. They're not just accidentally obtaining all of that. They're getting all of that from us. And why? To overthrow regimes we don't like. And here comes Iran and Russia helping out Syria to get rid of ISIS. And we don't really like that. We don't really want that. So maybe this guy was played a very important role, and maybe that's why we wanted to get rid of him. Okay. I mean, other than the fact that we just don't like Iran and we don't like the regime and they're not our puppets. So we got to get rid of all of them anyways. But it does make you think that, hey, why are we so mad at a guy that was helping us defeat ISIS, regardless of what he was doing to his own people? Because our government don't care about any people anywhere. They only care about their agenda, which is regime change, new world order, more oil, more power, more money. That's it. So they killed this guy. Trump says that there was evidence that there was going to be an imminent attack. Then Pompeo and Mark Esper come out and say, well, no, there wasn't really no evidence. And then they had a briefing a few days ago. And if you listen to Donald Trump, it was the greatest briefing ever. But as soon as Mike Lee and Rand Paul come out of the meeting, it's a whole nother story. Mike Lee pretty much loses it. And that was the best that I've seen Mike Lee. He had some fire in his belly, and I wish he was more like that. But what does he do? He comes out of the meeting, and he says there was no specifics given. There was no evidence given, and we were told to not debate in public about further military action on Iran. And if we do, we are just empowering or emboldening the enemy. That's what they told the senators. A bunch of unelected officials are telling elected officials, hey, we got some intelligence, but you can't really look at it, but just take our word for it. And by the way, shut up when you're out there. Okay, stop debating. All right, just stop doubting us and questioning us, and just be little, good little soldiers, good little puppets, and just go out there and say what we want you to say. And some of the congressmen and some of the senators are doing just that. They're talking about it's the greatest briefing ever. The intelligence was there. No, it wasn't. Mike Lee and Rand Paul already let the cat out the bag. No specifics was given. And you see Trump had to try to nip that in the bud real quick. And he responded and said he never seen Mike Lee like that, and that he was told by others it was the greatest briefing ever. But reality, they didn't have any specifics. They spent 75 minutes pretty much just telling him nothing. and then expect them to come out of the meeting and tell the media that they got all this important information that suggests that, yes, we were under imminent attack when we really weren't. Okay, so more lies, just like the Bush administration, just like the Obama administration. But of course, some people want to listen. And when they tell, you got to see this for what it is. We have unelected officials telling elected officials that they can't see information. People that never got voted for. Nobody's voted for these people. And yet they have more power and control than our own senators do. The people that we supposedly voted for. This is how you can see who's in control, who's running the show, the deep state. And then who gets the briefings and the classified information? Supposedly the Gang of 8. So we got 8 senators that are tied to the deep state, and only they can get specified information, which they're probably not getting any information. They're just trustworthy on keeping up the lies for the administration and for the deep state. And that's why they're the chosen few that can get classified information. Because if a genuine person like Mike Lee or Rand Paul, far from perfect, but a genuine person like them, was to get that information, classified information, they would see that there is no real evidence. There is nothing to justify us assassinating him, and they wouldn't keep quiet about it. They would spill the beans. And so that's why they're not part of the Gang of 8, or part of those that are close to the deep state getting that information. So we got to see it for what it is, see what's going on, and expose it. The Trump administration, his officials, they're lying. The people around him, the ones running the show, calling the shots, the people that are probably really the president, like Pompeo, Bolton, Esper, these are the people you got to listen to, because these people are the ones really calling the shots. Trump is just there to distract you. So hopefully we don't have a coming war. I don't know what's going on in the news as I speak now. Right now it's Monday morning, so I'm pretty sure we'll have some new news out, more news out. The Trump administration hits Iran with some new economic sanctions. I don't think any of us are surprised by that. So here we go again. We care about the protesters, we care about the Iranian people, but then we're putting sanctions on them that only harm the Iranian people. So anyways, again, if you haven't liked the page, Occupy the Media, please go over to Facebook, like the page, help me out, spread the news. Hopefully you, if you haven't been following me before, hopefully this episode sheds light on a little bit of what I'm trying to do, what I stand for, what my principles are about. Hopefully a few of you feel the same. I know a lot of you don't, because a lot of you are sheep. A lot of my followers are sheep, unfortunately, but that's okay. We're going to wake up some more people. We're going to spread the message. We're going to expose government and, do the best that we can to stop these wars, stop any more people from dying, expose the truth. Going forward in the next few episodes or episodes to come, I want to touch on some more headlines. But I think on this episode, I probably went a little bit longer than I wanted to in breaking down Occupy the Media. Wanted to touch on Trump and Iran in the coming war. Hopefully you get my position on that, understand where I'm coming from. So once again, help me out. I appreciate all the listeners. I'll try to do this a couple of times, 2 to 3 times a week. I'm not sure I could bust out an episode every day, but if you appreciate what I'm doing, definitely let me know. Help get the message out there, and remember, occupy the media, become the media, and let's wake people up. All right, peace.